Today I'm going to share with you 2 great ways to invest and make coins when you have 10 million coins or less in FC Mobile. So the first method is to buy new event players when the event first comes out. Now the reason for that is because oftentimes EA sets their price ranges below what they should actually be worth. For example, Haaland was set at 24 million when he first came out, and as you can see, he's risen up to about 45 million, which is where the market values him. But of course, we can't be investing in guys like him and Bellingham because it costs too many coins. So you have to go a little bit lower, go to the lower to mid rated cards, and find cards that you think are undervalued for their ratings and their stats. A great example of this is Kyle Walker. He came out as an 87 rated right back, and if you look at his stats, he had 91 pace, decent defending, and great physical. So his card was really good, and when he first came out, he was only 2.6 million coins, and everybody was trying to buy him because clearly he was worth more than that. Now you may be wondering, how can you tell if they are undervalued? Well, what I did with Kyle Walker is I went and I looked up all the right backs in the game, and there were only 5 that were a higher rating than him, and all of them, as you can see, are 10 million coins or more. But if you actually look at his stats compared to them, he's not that far off. Kyle Walker had great pace, decent defending, decent physical. If you compare that to Zanetti, better pace, less defending, but much better physical. So in game, Kyle Walker will likely play a little bit better than Zanetti. So the fact that Zanetti is almost 10 million coins and Walker at the time was 3 million, it showed that there was a difference in value. If people value Zanetti to be 9 to 10 million, then Walker should definitely be valued more than 2 to 3. So if you see that, pick him up for 2 to 3 million coins, and then after a day or two, you could go in and sell him for more because his card should rise in value. Now, of course, this is always going to be a bit of a gamble because it all comes down to whether you think they're undervalued or not. But if you take your time and be diligent and do your research on the card and all the cards that compare to him, it should be relatively easy. Now, in Kyle Walker's case, because he was so undervalued, everybody was trying to buy him, pick him up, and there was 999 purchase quantity at almost all times. And a way to get around that is if you go to a site in the link in my description. I'm not sponsored by them, but there's a site called Renders where they show you the time that the player's price will be updated, so the player's price range. Let's say Kyle Walker was at 3 million and there was 999 people trying to buy him for 3 million. They would let you know when EA was going to increase it to 3.2 million, let's say. So when you know that time, then you could go into the game right when it happens, go and put in your buy orders as soon as the price updates, and therefore you'll be able to buy him a lot easier. Now, before I get into another example of this, I want to show you that sometimes there's other factors that could affect the price that you have to watch out for. For example, Kyle Walker got an exchange, and because everybody was able to get him for relatively cheap, his price ended up going down. He hit about 7 million, and as you saw before, he's now down to about 5.5 million. But the point is that he was very undervalued at 2 to 3 million, so buying him early and selling him as he went up is a great way to make coins. Another great example of this is Doku, and because he's an 84 rated, because he was packed a lot, and he's also just not a high rated card, his price wasn't that high right off the bat. But if you looked at his stats, 95 pace, 86 dribbling alone is very good. Now, if you rank him up or if you train him up and get that shooting up, he is an incredible right wing. Which is why when he first came out at 838,000 coins, he was definitely undervalued. And as you can see, his price has risen a few 100,000 coins and hit a peak of almost 1.5 million because people realized how good he was. So this is another example of finding someone who's a bit undervalued, picking him up when he first comes out, and then selling him when people realize how good he actually is. So that's the first method, picking up cards when they are undervalued when they first come out in a new event, and then selling them off when they've reached about their fair market value. And that goes for all of these cards here. But as I said earlier, it could be a bit of a gamble because you're assuming that you know what is good value and what isn't. So here is another method that I've found has always worked for me, and that is investing in players used for exchanges. So for each of these exchanges, you're going to have to put in certain players in order to do the exchange. For example, here, we need 84 plus overall attackers, midfielders, and defenders. And because this is a pack that could get you an 88 to 91 overall player, tons of people wanted to do it, which meant that the price of 84 plus overall players in general went way up. I personally did this investment myself a few days ago. I picked up Perez between 370 to 390,000 coins, and he rose up to 600,000 coins in just a day or two. And that's simply because he was really sought after for those exchanges. And because he's relatively cheap, with 10 million coins or less, you could buy up a ton of them and resell them for some insane profit. In another case, there was an exchange that needed an 85 overall player, and I picked up this player as well for 350 to 370,000 coins, and now he's up to 1.25 million because that exchange is so good and refreshes daily. So investing in these players for exchanges is a great way to make coins. Now there's two ways to do it. One, you could either try to anticipate what exchanges are going to come out. So for example, you could see here with the 88 to 91 rated exchange, it expires in 4 days, but we know that the UCL event is going on for around another week. But as you can see, you could only complete one of these each week. So something I'm anticipating is that this exchange is going to refresh on Wednesday. And if that happens, then there's going to be a lot more people once again looking to buy 84 plus rated players. So investing in those in a few days' time may be a great way to make coins. So investing ahead of time is one way to make coins with exchanges, but of course you're banking on the fact that the exchanges actually do come out. If they don't, then you're just sitting on a bunch of players that aren't going up in value. So there is risk there. Now the other way to do it is every day at reset, go and check the exchanges to see if there's any new ones. When Kyle Walker came out, the cards needed to do the Walker exchange spiked in value for the first few hours because people didn't expect him to come out. But if you were someone who was able to get into the game right when the reset happened, checked the exchanges, saw that Walker was there, figured out which players were needed to complete them, you could then take that information, go out to the market, buy the players needed for the exchange, and then sell them a few hours later for a profit. Now, if you're ever curious what time is reset, you could always just check the daily exchanges here or the skill games in your event. For example, here, reset is going to be in 8 hours and 56 minutes for me. The exact same thing is here with the universal rank player exchange, 8 hours and 56 minutes, that is the reset time. Anyways, that's two great ways to make coins in FC Mobile if you have 10 million coins or less. If it helped you out, please drop a like. If you're new, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.